Neighbor tried to get my mom fined over our shed. So I got his $40,000 pool filled in. I live with my mom. She's quiet, keeps to herself, never bothers anyone. A few months ago, our new neighbor decided to report her to the city for having an illegal shed in the backyard. It was total BS, the shed's been there for years and has full permits. An inspector came out, checked everything, and left without saying a word. But the neighbor? Smug. Proud. Thought he'd scared us. So I did a little digging. Turns out his brand new pool was way too close to the property line and illegally built over a utility easement. I reported him. Attached photos. Quoted city codes. 2 weeks later, the city ordered him to either move it, impossible, or fill it in. He lost the whole thing, $40,000 down the drain. Literally. Now he gets to look at our completely legal shed every day, while standing over a pile of dirt where his pool used to be. Mom sleeps great now. My husband's childhood best friend asked me for a favor, then humiliated me in front of her family. I'm done being the bigger person. I've been sitting on this for a few days, trying to decide if I'm just being dramatic or if I've been letting too much slide for too long. So, I, 30F, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31M, is honestly a gem, kind, patient, hilarious, loyal. Basically everything you'd want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. That relationship wrecked me for a while, but I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And my husband? And thankfully, my husband's never given me a single reason to question him. Until now? Maybe? I do not know. My husband and I have a great relationship, and we're pretty social and often hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his group, and they've honestly made me feel welcome, except for her. His childhood best friend. Let's call her C. C has always been cold to me. Not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know that kind of vibe? Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me, not to me. I tried. I really did. I've smiled. Made conversation. Been nothing but warm, even when she's given me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts. But she'll invite him over. And he always tells me, to his credit. He never goes without mentioning it, and he's never weird or secretive about her. But it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried being friendly, I've tried small talk, hell. I invited her to our birthdays, barbecues, engagement dinner, she bailed on all. She skipped our wedding too. And she only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's just been dumped and needs to talk. When I've brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it. That C is just a little odd socially. Maybe she is. Then, a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I'd model for her project. Totally unexpected. And I was caught off guard enough to say yes. Part of me thought, maybe this is her trying to connect. Maybe this was her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive. So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her in a while and thought it'd be fun to catch up after. When we got there, her family was also involved. And from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive Twilight Zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. I laugh, awkwardly. Think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot, came more of the snarky comments. Jokes about the one that got away and some bonds never fade. Her mom, at one point, literally said, we always thought C would end up with him. But life has its detours, I guess. C always imagined walking down the aisle with him. And then. It's sweet of her to fill in, though. Oh, come on. I wish I was exaggerating. And C? Just kept snapping pictures. Smiling. Saying nothing. No hey, cut it out, no awkward laugh, no redirect. Nothing. My husband? Clearly uncomfortable. I watched him fidget through the whole thing, clear his throat a few times. He tried to change the subject or came nearby me during the shooting. He didn't say much either. Just went kind of quiet. I stuck it out for an hour. Let her take her photos. Smiled, posed, whatever. But the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment, and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he was silent for a while. Then finally said, "Sorry about all." That was weird, right? And honestly, I didn't even know what to say. Because yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. And the fact that he was there, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug? It makes me feel kind of alone in this. I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless or just awkward. She knows exactly what she's doing. Two don't want to start a huge fight. But I'm at the point where I don't want her in our lives. Not as a friend. Not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage. No more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I'm not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway. Thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really needed to get this out. They tried to slowly start automating certain jobs at my company. I was working daily with the engineers running the project and messed with the data until the project was scrapped. I have a union job in industrial machine electronics maintenance. I work for a large company that employs thousands of union workers. My job specifically is fairly safe for now because these machines and robotics have tons of issues and I'm the guy who troubleshoots and fixes them. There is lots of tribal knowledge in our shop, stuff that's not in any manual, just things we know and do to make many of the machines runs correctly. Even the engineers don't know a lot of the little things we do to them. We already have lots of automation and robotics we maintain. Machines that have already cut lots of jobs in the past. About 8 months ago, they came up with a new project on a large drilling machine to help the operators work more efficiently. We saw right through it, and so did the operators. It was meant to replace them completely. This would affect roughly 150 well-paid union workers across all 3 shifts who are making $70 to $120K a year. The operators were obviously not happy about it, and we had no interest in helping a company with record profits replace more people with machines. The engineers gave us equipment and instructed us how to set it up and calibrate it. Then they would check with the operators daily, as well as have us tweak things daily. No one actually double-checked our work because they either trusted us or didn't know how to check it. All the data was recorded, but those recordings relied on us properly calibrating the equipment. At first we didn't have to do anything, the software was full of bugs and nothing worked as it should. But we got to learn what they didn't want to see. Eventually, things got smoother, but then the operators would start to make up problems, so the engineers would have us fix them. These fixes would often cause actual problems. Some of these problems weren't obvious at first, so we wouldn't say anything and let them think everything was good. Then issues would come up after small problems compounded for a few days. They would throw another fix at it. Sometimes it made it worse, sometimes it made it better. If it was worse, we'd let it run for as long as possible before they noticed. If we got lucky, things would jam up and break, which would set things back a week or two. If things ran too smoothly, we or the operators would make up small problems to make them start messing with the code again. And like I said, there is a lot of tribal knowledge with maintaining these machines, so we didn't even need to purposely mess with anything, we just needed to not do certain things that we knew they needed to run correctly. This whole project lasted about 8 months until they announced they blew past their budget and had to shut it down. I'm sure it was a roller coaster for the engineers and NC programmers. I do feel bad for them because they definitely had the skills to pull this off. But it would have cost roughly 150 people their jobs within a year or two, and only sped up automation in other parts of the factories. I know this isn't the end of it, they're probably going to try again next year with a new budget and we'll keep doing what we did for as long as possible. Eventually they will get suspicious and start monitoring things closer. We are very careful about it because we can obviously lose our jobs over this, but for now we should be fairly safe because our repair shop is small and tight-knit. I think my wife hates me and won't admit it. This is a long read because this occurs over the course of years. We've been married for 2 years together. 8. During the initial start of our relationship, I thought I found my soulmate. We got along so easily, had the same interests and ambitions, and enjoyed the same hobbies. However, the start of our relationship didn't go without issues. I grew up in a broken childhood and made friends with the wrong group of people who were more interested in putting me down and making fun of me than actually being a good friend. She came from a loving household with caring parents who would do anything for her. These differences made me insecure and caused me to feel like I'd never be good enough for her. I kept it to myself for the first half of our relationship. But it started to get rocky about 2 years in. She started to hide drinking from me and never would open up emotionally. which leads to her first suicide attempt. While I was heading to see her after getting off work, I received a call that she was in the hospital and that they reached out because it was the first call she received. They explained the situation to me, and I immediately called her parents out of worry and concern. I stayed by her side until her mom arrived out of state to be there for her. After the attempt, she started getting therapy, which I thought was helping her improve. However, a couple of months after the attempt, out of nowhere, she tells me she thinks we should break up. It devastated me because I already had unaddressed issues from abandonment in my childhood. It hurt, but after a long argument and discussion, we agreed to continue the relationship. We were fine for another year and a couple of months and started talking about the long term. But I found a text to a friend that she wished she was free. It caused another argument, but we again decided to stay together. She then had another suicide attempt without any indication she was going to attempt it. After the second attempt, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. This discovery heightened my anxiety because I want to be there for her and do everything I can to make her happy. But I always had worries that I never addressed. I started to constantly worry she would cheat on me or that she didn't love me. It caused some resentment that I struggled to express and created arguments. She never could handle arguments well, she usually shuts down and wants to ignore them. With the way she handles arguments, I get angry, and it increases my belief that she's cheating on me because she's never emotionally available. I understand insecurity isn't attractive, so I tried to hide it or ignore it as much as possible. I thought things were improving. After a few months she surprisingly proposed to me. Although a little confused based on historical occurrences, I said yes. We discussed long-term arrangements, and I agreed to move with her to a state closer to her family. I didn't have much family or real friends, so the move was fairly easy. But I also saved and decided to attend college to ensure we were well off and adjusted. After dealing with ups and downs, she graduated with 2 master's degrees. I'm still currently trying to finish my bachelor's degree with money out of my pocket I saved. We agreed that I should focus entirely on school until I graduate. Because of this, she has been supporting me while I graduate. But it makes me feel ashamed and inadequate that I can't provide more for her. On top of my unaddressed issues, I become easy to irritate and quick to anger. She's never emotionally available to help resolve any conflict between us, which leads me to believe she's cheating on me. Fast forward to this year, I discovered she had a journal on her phone for therapy. I'm not justifying my actions or disagreeing that reading it was wrong. But I did read it. I found she had a list of only negative things about me and not a single positive thing written about me. I often asked if she was happy and if we were good, and she always reassured me that we were. But after I found this journal entry, I confronted her immediately. She is mad I read her journal, rightfully so, but I am mad that once again I felt deceived and that what she tells me isn't how she feels about me. There are things I have to admit I need to work on. I won't deny, such as me being quick anger at things between us due to my lack of trust. I don't want to end our marriage, but I feel I'm in a relationship where I care more and I'm clinging onto something I should have never grabbed onto. I often ask her if I should leave, and she perceives it as a threat, but I don't mean it as a threat. I mean it as a way to give her an out, to express what she wants. She never expresses what she wants, she always replies with "I don't know," and it hurts because I want her to be with her, but I don't think she loves me and hates me but won't admit it. I just want her to tell me what she wants so I can satisfy that want. If she wants me to leave, I will leave, but if she wants me to stay, I will happily stay. My brother and I are planning to go no contact with our mother. I am a 19-year-old female and I have a twin, Brian, fake name, who is male. Our mother has always treated us different. My brother got praise, I got scorn. As far as I knew, we had no other family. She's an only child, her parents are gone and our dad wasn't in the picture. If I did something wrong like forgot a chore or got a low grade, I was yelled at, sometimes hit. If he did the same thing, it was brushed off. My brother noticed this treatment early on. An instance that sticks out to both of us is when I was 7 years old. Mother had a birthday party for my brother and his friends. He got his favorite flavor of cake, food, etc. My name wasn't even mentioned. It was a pool party, so I put on a swimsuit my mother had bought me, and when she saw me in it, she called me a SL*T and told me I was grounded and couldn't swim or play. I spent the day in my bedroom. Now, with the favoritism shown to him, my brother could have turned out really entitled, yet somehow, this behavior from mom had the opposite effect. He snuck inside and brought me cake, and gave me one of his presents. I cried and unleashed all the sadness, which I feel bad about to this day. BC, he was also a child and it wasn't/isn't his job to shoulder my pain. After that, I noticed he made an effort to make sure I was included. His friends became my friends because he refused to do anything without me. He said they could deal with it or not be his friend. Any friends I made on my own weren't welcome in the house, so he made sure Mother thought they were his friends. Sometimes we'd hang out and Brian would do his own thing elsewhere on the playground or wherever we were, and I got to feel like a normal kid playing and having fun. He made sure I got gifts, mostly his, and that when I did something good or cool, he was my loudest cheerleader. At our next birthday, he specifically asked for a theme from a show he knew I was a fan of but he didn't care for. He played it up to our mom as this being his biggest dream ever. When it came time for the cake, he asked our mom for something he knew was inside and let me blow out the candles. It was the first time I'd ever had a cake for me on my birthday. Later in high school, if he went on a trip, or to a concert, he made sure I got to go, phrasing it as in needing me there as a favor. Example, but Mom, Timmy's mom says I can't come unless his little sister has someone to go with too, so she doesn't bother us. And just like that, we are both at a concert singing as loud as we could. I don't know how she never caught on, but I'm not about to look a gift horse in the mouth. I started working at 16 because Mom said I needed to contribute. Brian got a job shortly after. Mom tried to get him to quit BC. His schoolwork was important, her words, but he said it wasn't fair his friends got to have jobs and buy their own things. She caved. Mom would take money from my check to pay for my food, etc. Brian would split his check with me. BC Mom would buy all his stuff even though he was working. Then something wonderful happened. Before turning 19, Brian found our dad. He had been gifted a 23andMe test from a friend and was encouraged to learn more about his heritage and see if there was anything cool. Like related to Vikings or something, lol. Well, no famous Vikings, but he matched with a young man in another state. We contacted him. This guy was our older half-brother. He put us in contact with our dad, who had apparently been looking for us for years. He explained he had been married, had our brother, divorced, and then had gotten together with our mother. When she found out she was pregnant, she left him after confessing she was cheating on him, saying the pregnancy probably wasn't his, and moved in with the other guy who later left her when we were about a year old. Dad pleaded with her stay and even said he'd raise us regardless of who the bio dad was. She still left. We had a meeting over Skype and our dad cried upon seeing us. Maybe I'm biased, but I swear we look like the spitting image of our dad. He apologized over and over for not finding us sooner, but that's not his fault. We also found out we had a huge family on Dad's side. He has 7 siblings and all of them have 2 to 5 kids each. Wow. I asked if he knew more about anyone on Mom's side, but he didn't know of anyone else. She had also told him she had no parents, so maybe she was telling the truth about that. Brian wants to look more and see if he can find any extended family on Mother's side at some point. Brian explained what was going on with Mom and her treatment of me and how he wanted a way out for both of us. Our dad immediately said we should come to him and our family. Wow, typing that in surreal. Our family. He lives in a different state and it took months to get everything together, especially tracking down important documents like birth certificates and such. Brian and I want to go no contact with Mother. After months of planning, everything is now set. We have so much waiting for us. We have grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. We have family. I'm ready to cry just thinking of it. We are ready. We are leaving the night before our birthday, and celebrating with family who loves us. I keep crying thinking of it. I'm happy. I'm so happy. Brian says he hasn't really seen me smile in a long time and hugging me. I did ask Brian if he was sure he wanted no contact. Mother obviously loved him. He would be losing that if he left. I understand wanting to help me, but I feel bad he is leaving someone who gave him everything. He said he has watched our mother mistreat me, call me names, and even hit me over the years, and he's done. He wants nothing to do with her. He couldn't do much about it then, but now he can make it up to me. I told him he didn't need to make anything up, he was a child same as I was. It's enough that we are getting out and we are okay. A clean slate for both of us. We are going to be free, we are going to be loved. I'm blessed to have my brother. And now I'm blessed to be reunited with a family I didn't even know was waiting for me. Wish us luck.